Hello and welcome. My name is Paula Werrett and I'm Head of Undergraduate Courses here at ION, and I'm going to be talking to you today about ION's Cert HE in Personalised Diet and Health. So just a little bit of background to myself. My role is to look after all of the undergraduate courses that we have here at ION, and that includes the Cert HE Personalised Diet and Health, but also our BSc Honours Nutritional Therapy degree and a range of credit-bearing short courses. I'm a qualified practitioner myself, and I've been practicing for many, many years. So that really enables me to know what needs to be in the courses and to make sure that, as well as the knowledge being included in the courses, that there are all the important skills that are needed to help you succeed in practice. So that you'll see that in the courses we have business skills included, clinical skills, and a range of personal development skills, which are all very important when you're working in this arena. So the Cert HE itself is a relatively new course that we've introduced here at ION. It is validated by the University of Portsmouth, which gives it the nice academic underpinning, rigorous underpinning. And it's essentially a subset of the nutritional therapy degree. So it comprises the level 4 modules of the degree. It's an online course, so you're able to complete the course to suit your own hours to a certain extent. And if you complete the course part-time, it takes 18 months to finish it, or full-time, you can do it within a year. So it's a really nice, quick entry into the nutritional therapy arena, which enables you to start completing some practice. And it also means that if you want to, you can continue on to the degree whilst earning money and using your nutrition skills as you do that. So it's a very nice aspect of the qualification. So before we get into too much detail about the Cert HE, just wanted to give you a little bit of background to ION itself. So we have been established since 1984, and we're the longest running nutritional therapy training provider, which obviously means that we've got a wealth of experience in this field, and we really know what's needed to make sure that you're able to practice successfully. We were founded by Patrick Holford, who's a leading expert in nutrition, author, and entrepreneur. So he set up the organization in 1984. And if you want to read a little bit about his philosophy around nutrition and health, then you can meet Patrick and hear from him, and just go to the YouTube link that's on the slide here. So one of the important things to think about when you're embarking on a nutritional therapy training is the approach of the training provider, and to make sure that that approach aligns with your own approach. So if we kind of look at the standard government approach to nutrition, this is really embodied within this Eat Well guide that you can see here, which is produced by Public Health England. And what you can see on this guide is that very much one size fits all. So this idea that we should all be eating exactly the same, and that if we eat this way, we will be healthy. And you can see that on this plate, there's a very much an emphasis on carbohydrate, that making up, a very large proportion of the plate. But within the plate, there's no differentiation between the types of carbohydrates. So we've got white things mixed in with whole grains and so on. And then on the fruit and veg side of the carbohydrate, then there's no differentiation between fruit and vegetables. As long as we're eating lots of these things, then that is okay according to the Eat Well guide. Another thing to note is that oil and spreads are outside of the plate, and the advice there is that we should be eating those in very sparing amounts. So if we move on and look at a different perhaps approach to eating, which is from the Alliance for Natural Health, we can see on this plate a different approach. So whilst we still have vegetables making up a predominance of the plate, we can see that the vegetables are separated out from the fruits, with more emphasis being placed on vegetables. And that, of course, is because fruits are high in sugar. So whilst good for us, there is still some caution needed around the amounts of fruit that we eat in order to be healthy. We can also see that we have grains separated out, but the emphasis here is on whole grains rather than just eating any type of grain in its refined form. And on this plate, we've got fats actually on the plate with a recommendation for approximately 10% of the diet to come from high healthy fat foods. So a different approach to eating, but perhaps the most important thing to say about this plate is that this is just a sort of a guideline. And the idea is that the approach to nutrition should be very much personalized and with a real food focus. So this really is the type of approach that we would take here at ION. So we have some general guidelines, but we do recognize the importance of changing those guidelines depending on the individual and the clinical situation. So what we know is that we're all very different. We're all genetically different. We're all potentially at different life stages and different ages and with different requirements from our lifestyles and from any health conditions that we may have. And therefore, the way that we eat needs to encompass all of these different factors. And this is really the essence of a personalized approach to nutrition. And this is very much what you learn on the Cert HE, is how to change somebody's diet and how to advise them on what to eat based around all of these factors that we've just been talking about. So you may be wondering, well, why should I study personalized nutrition? Well, there are lots of reasons to study personalized nutrition. It's a really, really fascinating subject and leads to a fulfilling career with lots of different types of opportunities. And, maybe if you're already working in this type of field, then it gives you the opportunity to expand an existing career. Perhaps you're already a coach, or perhaps you're already a personal trainer, or you're working in some related field. This can be added into your career and expand the opportunities that you've got. And one of the things about working with nutrition and diet is that it's a flexible career, which enables you to decide what hours you want to work and the opportunities that you want to take up and the types of directions that you want to go in. And it's so rewarding to really enable people to take control of their health and well-being. But also it gives you lots of tools to help your own health and people potentially in your family. And one of the things I will say, as someone that's studied personalized nutrition myself and have been working in the field for around 20 years, is that you just never stop learning. So it's really endlessly fascinating. It's never something that gets boring. So we've talked a little bit about the University of Portsmouth and the fact that the Cert HE is validated by the University of Portsmouth. So just to tell you a little bit more about University of Portsmouth, they are one of the top 10 UK young universities. They've got a gold-rated teaching excellence framework, and they're globally recognised for research and also for supporting non-traditional learners. So this is quite an important aspect because many of our students at ION are perhaps coming back into studying after a break or bringing up a family or doing something different. And so the University of Portsmouth are very much renowned for looking after these types of learners and understanding the specific needs of students who perhaps coming back into study or trying to juggle study with other things that are going on with their lives. And what's really great is that the mission of ION aligns really, really well with the mission of the University of Portsmouth. So we can work really well together to deliver the first class training on our undergraduate courses. So looking at how you will learn on the Cert HE. So as I mentioned, the course itself is online. So you have a range of pre-recorded lectures and workshops to watch. And these are delivered by leading experts in the field. So you really are learning from the people who really know what they're talking about, who are out there working in clinical scenarios and who can bring that real clinical learning into the teaching. The pre-recorded sessions which you will watch are then supplemented by a range of live sessions. So we have very regular webinars, small group workshops, and activities that you do together with other students and with your tutors. And so the idea is that this gives you an opportunity to build on the learning from the pre-recorded lectures. You get the opportunity to ask questions, to work through different scenarios with other students, obviously to get to know each other, which is really important, and to get to know the tutors and so on. And then as well as the live activities, there are lots of activities that you can do on your own or in small groups in a non-live setting, where you might be doing quizzes, forum activities, just self-paced activities. So there's lots of things to keep the learning really, really interesting. And there's ongoing support from your module coordinator. And all of our module coordinators are employed by the organisation, which means that they're there and available for you to contact, always somebody there to support you and to answer your questions. And you've got the opportunity to talk to each other on forums and so on as well. As a University of Portsmouth student, you will have access to the University of Portsmouth library facilities, giving you all of the research papers and so on that you will need to really dig into the topics and really get to grips with the latest thinking and the latest research in the field. And then as well as the online learning, we also have a range of in-person enhancement days. And these days are really designed to bring all the students together, to really help everybody to get to know each other. And you'll have the opportunity to get to grips with some of the more practical aspects of the course, to, again, hear from industry experts, to have a go at kind of working out what's going on in a particular case, for example, and then hearing from experts about what they did. We bring you in to work with some of the anthropometric tools, so you can learn about how to weigh clients and do body fat composition analysis, that sort of thing, and practice some of your clinical skills. So there's a whole range of different things that you can kind of come in for. And we find that it gives a really perfect balance of being able to do things in your own time, but also coming together, meeting people, getting to know people, and really enjoying the learning. So the Cert HE, as I mentioned, is level 4 of the degree. So what you will learn within this level 4 of the degree is you will do 6 modules. And the first module will be very much about the principles and concepts of nutrition. So you will learn about the macronutrients, the fats, proteins, carbohydrates, what foods they can be found in, how much of those macronutrients we need for good health, and how we should combine them in different situations to really keep ourselves healthy. You'll also learn about micronutrients, so vitamins and minerals, and again, where we can find those foods, what they're all needed for. And you'll look at some sort of things such as ethical issues around food and environmental considerations. So you do a very good foundational module. And then you will look at different aspects of the body in different modules. So you will learn about how the different body systems work and what foods are needed to keep these body systems healthy. And then on the flip side, when things go wrong, what dietary interventions you can put in place to help people with different symptoms. So by the time you finish level 4, you've got a really good toolkit of understanding how to work with different imbalances. So, for example, in the we do have a module called detoxification and GI. So in that module, you'll learn all about how the gut works. And at the end of it, you'll understand how to work with a client who has IBS, or how to work with bloating, or how to work with constipation, or how to work with somebody whose liver appears not to be detoxifying as well as it should. And you'll have dietary plans and lifestyle interventions to work with so that you can support in those areas. And then similarly, there's a module all about hormones and another module all about the immune system and so on. And then finally, you do a module called the Foundations of Clinical Practice. So this is a clinical module that gives you the tools and enables you to learn the skills of how to conduct a dietary educator consultation. It helps you with your scope of practice. So you learn what you can and what you can't do, and how to refer on to other practitioners, but also how to set up in business and the different types of things that you can do with your qualification when you've finished. So a really lovely package of different skills that you'll come out with that will put you in a very good position to then start working as a dietary educator, having a great rewarding career. But also, because you've done level 4 of the degree, then you can, if you want to, progress onto level 5 and level 6 to fully complete the degree whilst working using your dietary educator skills. So we're looking now at level 5. And of course, if you're doing the dietary educator, you don't do level 5, you finish at level 4. But if you've done your dietary educator and you want to progress on to the degree, then this is just to talk you through what additionally you would do in order to get your degree qualification. So at level 5, what's added in at this level is teaching around different, more complex diets, supplementation and lifestyle advice to modulate more complex conditions and imbalances. So things where there may be things that are a bit more medical, or things where perhaps the stakes are a little bit higher, or just things that are a little bit more complex with more potential underlying causes. At level 5, you will look at functional testing, the different tests that are available to nutritional therapists. And actually, one of the exciting things about nutrition is that there are a lot of tests that are available to us that are not available on the National Health Service. So this is an area where you can kind of get under the skin, if you like, of some of the things that are going on for people. So often clients are told that they've got a condition, something like IBS, which is a sort of a chronic condition that there isn't maybe that much that can be done on the NHS. But through using functional testing as nutritional therapists, we can start to understand some of the imbalances that are happening, and that helps us to put protocols in place that can help individuals to manage that condition more successfully. So we learn about things like drug-nutrient interactions, and also there's more teaching around clinical skills at a different level here. We bring in things like coaching and behaviour change, as well as starting the process of learning about critical thinking and research skills. So that's really level 5. And it's important to say that if you want to stop at the Cert HE, that's absolutely fine. You can do that. And also, if you want to stop at the Cert HE, but you just want to do a particular module, such as coaching, for example, then you can do that and add that on to your Cert HE and do it as a credit-bearing short course. So then moving on to look at level 6 of the degree and what you will cover here. So the focus at level 6 is on things like supervised clinical practice with real clients in our training clinic. Personal professional development is quite a big aspect of level 6. And there's quite an emphasis on business and practice management. If you're doing the Cert HE, then you will have already done some business and practice management, and that's very much designed to use the skills that you've developed at level 4. Whereas the business and practice management is more looking at the business and practice management for the degree as a whole and what you can do once you've got to the end of the degree. And because you're doing the degree, you will do a research project. So there's an emphasis on developing the research skills and then support to help you to get through the research project. So entry requirements. So the entry requirements, whether you choose the Cert HE or whether you choose the degree, then the entry requirements are the same. You need to have level 2, which is GCSE equivalent in maths and English. And so some people are a bit worried about this because perhaps they didn't actually have those qualifications, they didn't do those qualifications at school. But if you can demonstrate to us that you are operating at a level where you're using the equivalent of level 2 maths and English in your job, then that's absolutely fine. So do have a conversation with us about that if that's something that's worrying you. because we do have a degree of flexibility around that. It's just obviously important that you're able to write well enough to complete the Cert HE or the degree, if that's what you choose. And similarly, there is a little bit of maths in nutrition, but it's not that much. Additionally, you need to have 2 A-levels or equivalent level 3 qualifications. One of these needs to be in a related science qualification. So it needs to be in biology or chemistry or something science related. So again, if you think you're somewhere close to that, but not quite there, then again, have a conversation with us. And we do look at things individually. So we're happy to have a chat with you. If you don't have the science or the A-levels that you're needed, then don't worry, because we do have our Science Access course. So we're not going to talk about that today, but there is a separate webinar that you can listen to on the Science Access course. So do inquire about that, and we can give you all the information on that. And then finally, just to say that some people may have covered some of the content of the Cert HE or the degree in other learning that they've done, either certified learning, which means you've got a certificate and you've done a course in it, or experiential learning, which means that maybe you've done some work or similar where you've developed the skills in a different way. Again, if you think that applies to you, then do talk to us, and we can kind of have a look at what you've done and see what exemptions you may be able to get in that respect. So we've just talked a little bit about it's called recognition of prior learning, RPEL. So that's what we've just been talking about. So we can look at some of the level 4 and see if there's anything that you're exempt from. We have a credit match of 80 credits. So that's the maximum that you can have exemption for. So assessments on the Cert HE and the degree. So we have a real mix of coursework. We don't have any written exams, which for some people I think will be a really good thing. But the assessment that we have is designed to make sure that you're developing the skills that you need to work as a nutrition practitioner. So you will have questions, short question and answer assessments. You will have case-based assessments. You will have some practical skills work. So it's a real mixture, some essays, and they're all spaced out throughout the year. So we aim to make the workload as manageable as possible. We do understand that many of you will be doing other things, will be working already, or bringing up families, looking after elderly parents, and so on. So the workload is quite manageable, as long as obviously you are organised and tackle things in a systematic way. And we'll talk about there are opportunities to slow down your pace of study, and there are opportunities to ask for extenuating circumstances if something happens to you that makes it impossible for you to submit your assessments. So all of the assessments just designed to reinforce the key knowledge and understanding and develop those skills that you need to work in this field, and to make sure that you've got the employment-related skills. So student support, we do really pride ourselves on the support that we give to our students. So as a student, you have 24/7 access to our virtual learning environment, which is where all of your course materials, your lectures, your webinars, the forum activities, and so on, everything is housed on that environment. So that's always available to you. You've got your dedicated module coordinators and level leaders who are all on our payroll. So they're all employed by the organisation and available to you. And so they will all tell you the hours that they're available. You can contact them via forums. They have weekly Zoom sessions where you can kind of jump on a Zoom call and talk to them then, or you can send emails to them. So lots of support there. Pastoral support is provided by our level leaders. So if you're having a really hard time and you need somebody to talk to and it's affecting your study, you can jump on a call with one of our level leaders. And then for your clinical work, you will have clinical supervisors who are practitioners, who are very experienced and very knowledgeable, and will really, really help you to develop your clinical skills. And similarly with your research project, you'll be allocated a research supervisor who will stay with you and support you through the development of your research project. So lots of support there. Some of you may be coming back into study or newish to study and may be thinking, gosh, I feel quite overwhelmed and I'm worried that I don't have the academic skills that I need to study at this level. Don't worry, we have a very fantastic academic support team, and you will find also within the modules some of the skills are built in. So there are exercises that you will be doing to help you develop skills, to write your essays. But if you need additional support, then our academic support team, they put on regular sessions on different areas of academic skills. And also you can book in for a one-to-one session with them. So if you get an assessment back and you feel a bit disappointed, you think, oh, I'm obviously not really good at essay writing as I thought, and I need a bit of help with this, then you can book in with our academic support team and they'll have a one-to-one session with you and really help to hone the skills and show you how you can improve those skills going forward. The Study Skills Hub on our Rely On, which is our virtual learning environment, is available for you all the time. So you can always dip into pre-recorded webinars and so on and different skills. And there are lots of documents and things to help you there. And then you have access to online journals and books from the University of Portsmouth. And actually, the majority of our reading list is available through the University of Portsmouth. So you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money on textbooks and so on, which is something which is quite useful to know. We've also got support that we can give you through the University of Portsmouth subject librarians. And then we have other student support as well. So this is what one of our graduates has said. There's so much tutor and student support, including study skills support. The staff gave me the support needed to achieve, to be able to fit my learning around my everyday commitments. So I think, as I say, this is one of the things that ION is really, really renowned for. And you may be looking at other colleges, but what I would say to you is just really make sure that you truly understand the support, because the colleges do very much differ in the level of support that they give. And obviously, this can really make the difference between being successful and staying motivated on the course and, perhaps not doing as well or just losing interest because you can't get the support that you need. So just going on to talk about the commitments and requirements from your side. So the amount of time that you need to do the course will depend on a number of factors. Obviously, if you're doing a full-time version of the course, then you'll be doing more modules at the same time. So you'll be doing 3 modules at a time rather than 2 modules. And that will mean that you'll need to put in about half as much time again. So full-time, you're looking at about 30 hours per week on average, whereas the part-time, we're looking more about 20 hours per week. Obviously, this varies enormously. It depends on the sort of particular week within the semester. So when you're coming up to assessment hand-in time, you might find that you're putting more hours in as you sort of finish off your assessment. And at the beginning, perhaps you won't be putting in quite so much. And we do have regular breaks within the academic year to enable you to take care of yourself. It's important that we practice what we preach. So you'll find that there's, breaks around the Christmas time and Easter. And then we do have a sort of big summer break because we recognise that most people go away and that often there are children at home on school holidays and so on, and that there's not so much time available to studying. You do need to have a computer with a decent broadband connection because most of our resources are available online. There are options between sort of streaming things in an online environment, or if you want to, there are things that you can download and you can watch the lectures offline as well, which is a real advantage. Again, the ultimate flexibility is what we try to provide. And one of the really great things about the ION course is that you have access to all of the modules throughout the whole course. So you can kind of go back and look at previous modules, because we very much recognize that the learning, one module builds on another module. But when you're starting to work with clients and so on, then you want to be able to go back and look at what you've learned previously. So you do very much have the opportunity to do that. You will need Microsoft Office software package. We have a lot of students that work on Macs, and that's fine, but you will need to be able to submit things in PDF format and so on. and competent IT skills. Obviously, you don't need to be an absolute expert, but you need command of the basic packages. Core texts, as I say, are mostly available through the University of Portsmouth Library. Time management's the key one, and obviously we've all got varying degrees of skill in time management, and we have got our study skills team here to support you, but obviously time management is quite important in terms of being able to succeed on the course. And then finally, just being fit enough to study. So if you're very, very poorly, obviously just think quite carefully. As I say, you can take the course at a slower pace if that works better for you, and just make sure that you're committed to starting and to succeeding. So the Cert HE course is accredited by the British Accreditation Council, which is an organisation that accredits ION as a whole. And additionally, obviously, we have the validation with the University of Portsmouth. And just to sort of really talk about some of ION's prominent alumni. So, as I say, we do really focus on making sure that our students go away with the skills that they need to succeed in the nutritional field. And here are some of our most successful graduates who've gone on to have really fantastic careers. So we've got Amelia Freer, who's sort of well-recognised author, Lucille Leader, who has really done some very, very interesting work in the field of Parkinson's disease and has very much been quite groundbreaking in being able to sort of give advice on how to eat to minimise Parkinson's symptoms when on medication. So she's very well recognised in a medical field. So that's actually been fantastic for the profession as a whole. Jenny Shishi, who's pictured here, otherwise known as the Lunchbox Doctor, has a very successful career, has written lots of books. She's been the brand ambassador for brands like sort of Instant Pots and air fryers. And so she's very much done a lot of work in that respect, as well as sort of one-to-one work. So you'll find that lots of our alumni are working, they have sort of what we would call a portfolio career. So they work in lots of different ways using their nutrition skills in order to have really quite an interesting and varied career, which is really lovely. Ryan Carter may be somebody that you'd like to look up. So Ryan works in sort of sports nutrition. He's developed a very impressive social media following and runs lots of sort of online group programs and so on. Nicola Moore is an ex-ION graduate and also an ex-ION member of staff and has a fantastic career now. She does mentoring for other practitioners and students, as well as running group online programs and a very successful one-to-one career with a great social media following. So, yeah, I could obviously go on and on about all of these different people, but, there are a lot of people that are not on this list that are also having wonderful careers and doing lots of different things. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of a flavour. So why choose ION? Obviously, there are other colleges. We are, as I mentioned, the longest standing really specialist since 1984. So we've got nearly 40 years of experience of teaching students how to practice in the nutrition field. We get very positive feedback from our students in our regular student voice committees. We talked about our graduates and the careers that they go on to do. And we have not just UK students, but students from all over the world. So we do really very much have that national and international reputation. And our alliance with the University of Portsmouth means that our students can benefit from that reputation, but also from a wide range of resources and benefits. So this is just a quote from one of our students. The course has given me the freedom to build a career, inspiring, empowering, and educating people about how to improve their health. And I don't think it can get much better than that. So that's really lovely just to see the end result of all the training and how it's influenced somebody's career. So extra student benefits. as a University of Portsmouth student, then you become a University of Portsmouth Student Union member, which means that you can benefit from a whole range of discounts on different things. You will get notifications and graduate placement opportunities, which we post up on our forum for all students to take advantage of. You will benefit from discounts at health food shops, supplements and testing companies. We have a range of academic prizes for our graduates. So that's quite nice. And if you're successful at being awarded a prize, then it's obviously a lovely thing to be able to put on your CV and your website and can open doors going forward. And then University of Portsmouth alumni, you as a University of Portsmouth alumni student, you will have discounts on further study. So I've alluded to the flexibility and so on of the courses that we run here at ION. But just to say that you are able to adapt your pace of study if as you need to. You can move between cohorts as a part-time student. There's the ability to credit stack. This is really more relevant for another qualification that we have, which is our diploma in integrative functional nutrition, which is for health professionals. You can take study breaks, and we have a variety of payment options. The career options we've talked about quite a lot. Obviously, a lot of our students will go into clinical practice, working one-to-one with clients. But additionally, you can work in coaching practice, and there are private and NHS opportunities in this field. Lots of people will do some media and writing. So whether it's writing articles for a magazine or book writing, product development and product endorsement actually are other opportunities. And there are opportunities in corporates to work doing things like giving talks or doing mini health checks, sharing food. There's lots of different ways in which you can kind of work in corporates as well. And then some practitioners will run wellbeing retreats or get involved in teaching and training and developing workshops and online courses. So really, it's a very exciting time to be coming into the field of personalised nutrition because there are so many different things that you can do. So course fees, these will be sent directly to you. You can also look at our website. You will see that there are slightly different fees for full-time and part-time course opportunities. And there are options to spread your payments if that works for you. The amount and frequency of those payment options does depend on your country of residence. And then finally, the other thing to say is that if you apply early for our courses, then you will benefit from an early bird discount if you pay in full for the year. So that's something else that's important to just keep an eye on. So another quote from Charlotte, one of our students who's really gone on to do amazing things since she graduated from ION and has founded her fertility kitchen as a resource to sort of empower women to optimize their fertility through nutrition. So she's really working, creating, sharing recipes and tailoring them to support fertility and IVF and writing a fertility nutrition cookbook. So another example of a student that's gone on to do really great things. So the next steps, speak with us. Our course submissions team will be in touch with you anyway. If you want to have a chat with me, then you're welcome to do so. Just ask our admissions team and they will put us in touch. You can download a prospectus from our website, book a call to speak to somebody, and then apply online. And that brings us to the end of this talk on the Cert HE. I do hope it was helpful, but do get in touch if you have any further questions, and we very much look forward to talking to you. Thank you.